Hello everyone, my name is Moises Hernandez, and I am a current student in section ESG1 of INST 346, Technology, Infrastructure, and Architecture, with Professor Dennis C. Frezzo. Today, I'm going to talk about what, in my opinion, are the most important hardware and software concepts that describe modern computing systems. I will appear throughout the video as I narrate the slides. I hope you enjoy the video. So, we're going to talk about hardware first, and then we're going to talk about software. We're going to do this using a bottom-up approach. So that means that first we're going to talk about chips and logic gates, then we're going to talk about hardware platform, machine language, assembly language, virtual machine, high-level language and operating system, and we'll even talk a little bit about human thought as well. So what you are looking at is a RAM chip developed all the way back in the 1970s by Intel. FYI, that was over 50 years ago, half a century. We have come a long way since then. RAM, or random access memory, is your computing device's working memory. We'll talk more about RAM and hardware later on in the video. Logic gates control electrical current in your device. To be more specific, logic gates control electrical current in your device's hardware, such as your CPU. Chips are hardware components that are composed of silicon. They comprise the memory and processing units in your digital device. Every year, chips become more powerful as advanced transistors allow more and more transistors to be packed into chips. Logic gates and chips are part of electrical engineering, a major available here at the University of Maryland College Park. In the 1950s, when we had one transistor. In the 2020s, we have 153 billion transistors. That's a lot of progress in such a short amount of time. What will the future hold? Hardware platforms. Hardware platforms can be made up of logic gates and chips. Software runs on it, and it understands only machine language. We'll talk more about software and machine language later on. Right now, I would like to talk about RAM. So, to give more information on RAM, RAM allows you to run programs on your computer. When your RAM is performing poorly, your device will slow down and lag. I'm sure we've all experienced it, and it's very annoying. However, by having a good RAM, you won't have to suffer that kind of pain. Hardware platforms. Machine language. Machine language is binary. It's made out of ones and zeros. It's the only language that computers can understand. In order for us to communicate with it, we need to convert our thoughts and our creativity into something that the machine can understand. So we have to translate our language into machine language. We'll talk more about that as we move on. Assembly language. Assembly language is a low-level programming language that is closer to machine language than it is to human language. In InfoSci, we tend not to use this as much, as we use high-level programming languages such as Python and Java instead. Assembly languages came out before high-level programming languages. Some examples of assembly language include x86, z80, and ARM. Virtual machines. Virtual machines are like computers, except that they only exist in code. They are used to test products and to experiment with things before they are released to the consumer. Some of the benefits to them is that they are cheap and secure. You can run questionable things on them and not worry about it negatively affecting anything. It is a controlled environment. They can do everything a physical computer can do, except that it's safer to test things on them. High-level language. High-level programming languages are what we use in our major mostly. They are closer to human speech than they are to machine language and assembly language. Examples include Python, Java, and JavaScript. The purpose of high-level programming languages is to translate our thoughts and our commands to something that the computer can understand so that the computer can implement it. Operating systems. Operating systems are programs that are in charge of managing other programs, similar to a manager at work. They are the first program to be active when the computer turns on. They first came out in the 1950s. As a side note, in the 1980s is when computers became accessible to the average person, like you and me.